So we have a lot to talk about. Let's get right into it here with the latest on Tropical Storm Eta. Now, as you know, this is now on land, moving over parts of Nicaragua and Honduras, and it's weakened quite substantially as expected. Right now, the most recent advisory, a little less than 1 hour old, shows that max sustained winds have dropped to 50 miles an hour, gusts up to 65 miles an hour, and the movement overall remains fairly slow right now toward the west at 7 miles an hour. Now, because the 10 a.m. advisory is a full advisory update, we have a brand new forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center here to analyze. And what I want you to do is think back to that mental picture of what you saw with the forecast cone yesterday. Compare and contrast what's new and different over the past 24 hours. Big picture, not much has changed with the actual cone itself. The location of the cone is still pretty similar to what it was yesterday. But what's different is the timing. A little slower on the arrival here inside the past 24 hours given the newer data. So as of right now, we are looking at the potential of a tropical or perhaps subtropical storm somewhere over South Florida, in the Gulf of Mexico, or as far to the east as the Atlantic Ocean as we get toward early Monday morning. Now, this is just the surface. This is the bare basics here. When I come back in just a few minutes, we'll dive into the analysis of Tropical Storm Eta, give you some better context as to what to look for and listen for over the next few days. Lots coming up. Stay tuned.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Now take a look at these brand new pictures coming in from Honduras. You can see the flooding from that storm already. Rescue crews there are responding to landslides and destroyed buildings. Up to 3 feet of rain is expected to fall. All right, now to the race everyone is talking about. Who will be our next president? It's still too close to call in several states.
Yeah, millions of votes are still being counted, but let's take a look at where we stand right now at 10:58. Right now, all eyes on Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. You can see how close this race is nationally. The president 2 percentage points behind Joe Biden in the popular vote. But of course, the electoral vote is what will decide our next president. President Trump did win in Florida, and he is already active on Twitter this morning. We're going to send things over to Stacey Deffenbaugh in the Alert Center with more on that.
Yeah, Nate, I think it's safe to say buckle up, folks. This one's certainly not over yet. The president firing off several tweets this morning, some of them even being taken down by Twitter. Let's look, Christina, pull up our social media feed here. 23 minutes ago, what is this all about? And right below that, you can see the message from Twitter. Some or all of the content shared in this tweet disputed and maybe misleading about the election or other civil processes. 41 minutes before that, and several others down here. You can see 54 minutes ago, that one deleted or blocked as well by Twitter. Now let's switch over to Joe Biden. 48 minutes ago, he tweeted out, "We won't rest until everyone's vote is counted." And he's telling people to tune in. What you're seeing right here is some sort of on the internet, some sort of, I guess, a press conference you'd call it, by his campaign manager and campaign advisor. They're giving an update on where the race stands. So I know you can't see it, but there's a picture of Georgia and North Carolina, and they're kind of giving their take on it, what we've been telling you here in our NBC2 studio. So I'm going to keep watching Twitter, Nate. A lot going on as well on my live feed. So we're going to show it to you all here from the NBC2 Alert Center.
You're going to have a busy day, Stacey. Thank you very much. The president tweeting many of the same things that he said last night to supporters. In fact, both candidates spoke to their base early in the morning. Here's what the president had to say.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
So, of course, still too close to call. So far, there's also no evidence of fraudulent ballots being counted. The president says that he's going to take this to the Supreme Court.
But former Vice President Joe Biden's campaign blasted the president's remarks as outrageous, unprecedented, and incorrect. Take a listen to what he had to say.
As I've said all along, it's not my place or Donald Trump's place to declare who's won this election. That's the decision of the American people.
The record number of mail-in ballots this year is delaying results, something that states did expect, of course, because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I want to show you where every state stands right now. You can see the white holes here where we are still missing some of those final tallies. We don't yet know who has taken those states. You can see some of the battleground states here. We still have not declared a winner. Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan here, Pennsylvania, a big one with 20 electoral college votes that we're still waiting on. So let's go to NBC2 Stacey Deffenbaugh now. She's tracking those votes being counted in the NBC2 Alert Center.
Amelia, happening right now in the Alert Center, Pennsylvania, you just mentioned it. It's a pivotal state for both candidates. It's one of the places that they are counting votes today. I want to show you live. Let's look in at INET 5, Christina. This is the Philadelphia Convention Center. A little bit of deja vu, right? We looked at this yesterday in the Alert Center, and they are back at it. Same scene, different day. This is the center of the election activity right now. Hundreds of election officials, they're there. They're sorting the ballots right now. They stopped at about 1:30 this morning. They started back up an hour and 2 minutes ago at 10 a.m. Statewide right now, I just checked moments ago, President Trump up in the state of Pennsylvania by about 541,000 votes. That's with about 65% reporting. That number, though, updated by the minute, by the second, really. So I'll keep tracking my live feeds right here in the NBC2 Alert Center. Nate?
Yeah, a lot of work to be done in Pennsylvania. But get this, in Nevada, election officials say that they're done counting ballots until tomorrow morning. They say no more results will be given until noon Eastern time tomorrow. Votes that still need to be counted include mail-in ballots received on Election Day. 6 electoral votes are up for grabs in that state. We have breaking news at 11:03. 3 people in Washington, D.C. are under arrest after overnight protest. This is new video from the Black Lives Matter plaza there. People were dancing and praying as results were coming in. 1 person was arrested for resisting arrest, and 2 people were arrested for assault.
Minneapolis also has a group of people in jail this morning. Police arrested 14 people while they were marching down the streets, blocking traffic, and even shooting off fireworks. Some businesses were also spray painted and traffic signs were thrown into the road. They are all in jail with riot charges.
Now to a big one in Florida. Voters passed Amendment 2 with 61% approval. This means our state's minimum wage is about to go up. NBC2's Alex Howard just got back from downtown Fort Myers. He's talking to people both for and against this.
Well, this morning, some workers around the state will start making more money, although this new minimum wage won't kick in until next year. Last night, voters around Florida voted in favor of raising the minimum wage, and now it's going to be kicking in next September. I want to break it all down for you. Right now, minimum wage in the state of Florida is $8.56 an hour. Next September, wages will rise to $10 an hour. From there, as you can see, it will increase incrementally, $1 an hour every year until it reaches a total of $15 by 2026. But not everyone's on board with the increase. Some workers we spoke to are looking forward to the raise, while business owners are concerned it could make it harder to make ends meet.
I think it's good for the younger generation that needs to work and they need, more money to survive.
It's a starting wage, number one, and raising it twice as much as what it is right now is going to raise everything else with it.
Now, the amendment that people voted on yesterday does warn voters that it could increase costs to the state by $500 million by 2027. In Fort Myers, Alex Howard, NBC2.
All right, we have an important deadline for voters in Lee County. If you need to cure a vote by mail or provisional ballot signature discrepancy, you have until 5 tomorrow night to do it. You need to complete and return the signature care affidavit, and you'll also need a copy of 1 form of ID.
Let's talk voter turnout really quickly. We saw massive numbers across our community. In Lee County, 81% of registered voters headed to the polls. In Collier County, that number was over 90%. Collier had the highest turnout for any county in Florida.
If you haven't already, go ahead and download our NBC2 News app. We'll push election results right to your phone, and you can also check out any other local race you want to on the app or online.
Now to our coronavirus coverage. As we wait for today's new numbers, I can tell you that Florida reported 56 new COVID-related deaths on Tuesday. 5 of those people died in Lee County. Looking at cases, the state reported more than 4,600 new cases. Our positivity rate is now at 7.5%. NBC2 will bring you today's numbers as soon as they come in.
Okay, Florida Gulf Coast University is reporting new COVID-19 cases this morning. Another 7 students have tested positive for the virus there. The school says all of them are quarantining right now.
With coronavirus cases climbing in Florida, the White House Coronavirus Task Force has our state in the red zone. Right now, it's for states with at least 101 cases per 100,000 people. Florida is now at about 109 cases per 100,000 people. Our state government chose not to release this information until the Orlando Sentinel went to court to get it. Experts at FGCU agree with the White House, saying we need to be cautious.
As much as we would like to say that COVID-19 is over, no, it's not going to end immediately. So it's going to take some time.
Hawk says now is not the time to let our guard down.
Investors, they're watching those election numbers closely like you and I are. They're waiting for a winner here right now in the NBC2 Alert Center. The Dow is rising. I want you to see the numbers, Christina. Let's pull up our feed here. The Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ. And look to the far left there, the Dow up 585 points. Tech stocks are leading the gains right now. The NASDAQ and the S&P also, you could just see changing moments ago on the upswing. Now, even though the race is not called and they're still counting ballots, there was one economist this morning on CNBC that said there doesn't appear to be a massive blue wave like some were predicting. So that's typically supportive of the markets, and he believes that's what's driving things right now in addition to those tech stocks. But investors watching this rally and the election results very closely. Amelia?
All right, thanks, Stacey. Right now, Lee Health CEO Dr. Larry Antonucci is giving us an update on the state of COVID-19 at Lee Health hospitals. At last check, Lee Health has 84 COVID-19 patients in isolation this morning. We are listening to that call right now. NBC2's Edna Ruiz will update us with what they say later on in this newscast. New at 11:08, a warning from Naples Community Hospital. You may want to rethink your holiday plans in order to stay safe from the virus. NBC2's Nicolette Perdomo is in Naples with the precautions health officials want you to take.
I'm at Vanderbilt Beach right now. NCH tells us even small gatherings can be dangerous when it comes to spreading COVID-19. So they recommend everybody go outside if they're going to gather for the holidays. Now, NCH also wants people to know that they think this is going to be spreading. Florida is a tourist destination for the holiday and winter months. And with more people coming in for season, that means more cases. NCH telling us they're expecting an increase in COVID-19 cases. Health officials also telling us they're seeing a change in transmission since people are letting their guard down at home with friends and family.
If you're running around the track, we've hopefully, covered a significant portion of the track, but where are we? Are we in turn 3? We are in turn 4. I'm not sure yet. We don't see the checkered flag yet, so we got to keep going.
Fortunately, NCH is not having an issue with plasma like Lee Health is. Again, if you're going to be outside gathering with family members, continue to social distance and wear a mask. I'm in Collier County, Nicolette Perdomo, NBC2.
And happening right now in the NBC2 Alert Center at 11:09, Senator Mitch McConnell, a Republican from Kentucky, just started speaking moments ago. SAT3 is the live feed that just changed. I want you to see what's happening. His wife, Elaine Chao, standing next to him. Senator McConnell winning his race last night. Some thought that would be a little closer, a big push by a Democrat in that state to unseat him, but he was successful in getting reelected. Now let's talk about the Senate in general. It appears that Republicans are going to keep control. There's 5 races right now that they're still not calling, but the Republicans are up in 4 of them. In Maine, Senator Collins, she is winning. North Carolina, Tom Tillis is winning. Michigan, the Republican is winning there. And in Georgia, Mr. Perdue, Senator Perdue appears to be winning there. There was actually 2 races in Georgia. The 5th race also in that state, that's going to go to a runoff, Kelly Loeffler's seat. But it does appear, the headline right now is that the Senate appears to be remaining in Republican control. There were some states that flipped, Democrats flipping Arizona and Colorado, and the Republicans flipping Alabama to the former football coach there. And Nate, Lindsey Graham, a lot of people watching that one. Democrats are pumping a lot of money into his challenger, but he was able to get reelected in the state of South Carolina. So a lot going on as we process all of this, and Mitch McConnell addresses his supporters live in Kentucky.
A great breakdown there, Stacey. Thank you very much. We will have more election coverage coming up, but first, this former Cape Coral nurse, Giovanni Hechefaria, has a court hearing today. He's accused of raping 3 of his patients back in 2016. So back in March, he was sentenced to a maximum of 30 years in prison for 1 count of sexual battery. He's expected to meet with a judge via Zoom at 1:30. Count on NBC2 for updates.
The man accused of killing this woman in 2017 is in court today. That's 77-year-old Joanne Leisure. She was a church volunteer in North Fort Myers. Brett Pleasant is charged with second-degree murder in her death. Count on NBC2 to let you know what happens in court.
It may be a shadow of its former self, but there is a lot for us to watch with Tropical Storm Ada as it moves over Central America. The latest analysis on this storm just after now, just in a few minutes.